Hello, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the opportunity to present our case. So yeah, I think what I will present here today is more of a quick overview of our business case regarding transitioning from Oracle to MicroStrategy. Sadly, my presentation won't be as flashy as Matej and Wit had it, but I think there's some information presented in here that will I think some of you might find useful. So basically, just if I can start off, maybe just to quickly present my existence at at the company where I work at. It's called Slovenian Steel Industry. First off, I started off at one of the subsidiary companies where I took care of SharePoint solutions, developing custom applications, crawling under desks to switch Ethernet cables. So my kind of spectrum of workload was quite a plethora. So but when kind of investigating what kind of problems the company was having was, of course, a somewhat kind of lack of unified business intelligent kind of system, platform, or organization, maybe a good word. So it was probably my destiny to wind up being a team coordinator for the business intelligence team. So currently, the things I'm working on are all BI and BI related tasks. If some of you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn, feel free to scan the QR code. This should take you to my LinkedIn profile. And I'm also available to answer any questions you might have afterwards or in the future. The next part, maybe to quickly go over, is just to briefly present the Slovenian Steel Group as a whole. One of the things is the SIJ is the #1 producer of stainless steel plates in the EU. The number 3 in the production of tool steels, and we're also among the top 10 worldwide regarding production of industrial knives. So we're kind of the key players in several parts of the market. Also here we have kind of a financial report we had for the first 2 quarters of 2019. As you can see, our revenue currently is in the hundreds of millions. One important part to point out is the export share. Almost 85% of all the products we make get exported. And maybe another additional KPI for us, which is an important KPI, is the number of employees. Of course, the number has changed by now, but I believe it didn't fluctuate that much. But what's important to note is that we are one of the highest ranking employers in the whole country. This is kind of just to maybe give a glimpse of what kind of operations we have here. Also, maybe just a few examples of the products. I honestly don't know what I'm looking at because our product portfolio is quite extensive. We do steel production for a lot of different industries. One of the recent ones that we acquired is a certification for a certain branch. So we are at the moment currently also expanding into other markets. So honestly, I can't really say much about this slide, but I had to show it. So this part. This is all regarding myself and the company where I work at. So maybe next up, the thing that the main topic of today, of course, is to present our transition. Here, I'm going to try to explain when, for how long, and why we actually chose to switch from the Oracle side to the MicroStrategy platform. So all of the slides that I'm going to be showing are all post transition. So one of the things that I'm going to present is what kind of business impact what kind of overall business impact the transition had on us. So maybe one of the first things that we were kind of also as the developing team, we were also we wanted to we kind of defined our own KPI, which is we wanted to increase the popularity of the BI platform, whichever we chose. And so by transitioning from Oracle to MicroStrategy, we did kind of an internal PR where we sent out email messages notifying people that we have the platform, which caused the users actually to apply for a license. I mean, they applied for access, which caused the increase in user count to go up by 42%. This was really a good figure for us. I mean, of course, like I said, after we transitioned. So this is one of the KPIs. The other one, we had to prepare because of the stakeholders, because of course we had to justify the transition project. We had to prove to them that it is a good thing for us. And of course, one of the aspects we have to prove is the economical impact. So we compared the maintenance costs between Oracle and MicroStrategy, and of course this number was really good and surprising. I mean, not so much surprising, but it was beneficial for us. This is kind of almost the main one that got the project approved. So by comparing, we did a comparison. The comparison we did was we compared the two platforms with the same number of users. So the amount of users that was on Oracle and the amount of users we had on MicroStrategy. We had a maintenance costs reduction by 73. So this is almost 3/4 less maintenance cost. This was something that was also, of course, in our favor. And of course, a few others that we have here. Of course, we also had trouble with development process, which by transitioning to MicroStrategy also went down. For instance, the development cycle times for, I don't know, one individual dashboard went down by a third, which incidentally caused, of course, our man-hour efficiency to go up by 30%. There are also a few other KPIs involved here, but they're not really relevant to the topic. But all in all, transitioning to the platform was caused satisfaction in all the possible fronts. So I mean, from the stakeholders' point of view, and from the developers, and from the end users, I think we satisfied the whole triad, if I may say so. So the KPIs were really in our favor. Of course, the transition itself started in December of 2018, where we were given the task to investigate the platform, what it's like, and of course we had to report back to him on the feasibility of the platform itself. So we kind of took our time. I believe it was about 2 to 3 months where we did investigate it. We went back to our superiors and we said, yeah, we do like it. It proved to be quite a good platform. Maybe a few details I'll show you in the later slides. So after we kind of justified the usability, of course we started the transition project, because of course we had a huge task in front of us. We had to migrate everything that was present on Oracle BI and migrate it to MicroStrategy. So the project was a bit of a challenge for us, but of course we had a lot of help from CRMT and MicroStrategy Austria. We had a lot of workshops where we presented our case, we showed them what we have, and they kind of guided us towards a relatively clean transition project. And so we started in April of 2019, and by October 19, I think it was by the end of October 19, we were finished. So sometime mid-November, we basically shut down the old platform. We had not so big transition period. I mean, grace period. So I think it was a few weeks. We had both platforms up, and then later on we shut down the Oracle one. So basically the result, of course, of the transition, maybe just to give you a few figures, like I said, this is a post go live scorecard. What we migrated from the Oracle side were about 180 dashboards. The reason, we took the 180 dashboards and we kind of estimated how much it would take for us to migrate one of them. So times 180, we did an estimate that we roughly need 1 day for each dashboard. So this is why we estimated the whole project to take place 6 months. So we were kind of off by a few weeks. So all in all, the plan was good. One thing that might be, I don't know, it might be surprising to existing attendees here who already have MicroStrategy. We did all the 180 dashboards. We did all of them using dossiers. We didn't use any reports or documents. This is all tied to kind of our strategy as kind of an IT development department. The dossiers were attractive for us because they are responsive. They are based on the latest standards. We also have one keynote later in a later slide where I can explain this in more details. Yeah, so we had reason to do this only with dossiers, and this is more kind of a organizational / political decision. I mean, this was a strategy on our side. We wanted to declare MicroStrategy as kind of a corporate-wide single point of entry for all analytical purposes. This means that that means an example would be if we were to buy software relating to other fields, not a BI platform. A lot of software that we buy also offers kind of a reporting system and analytical system, which we are now able to kind of stop in its tracks and make sure that all the analytical efforts, regardless of which company and what segment is used, the analytical part has to be done in MicroStrategy. So we kind of managed to make it, like it says here, a corporate-wide single point of entry. So this is also one of the good things. That was, I mean, one of the good changes during the transition. So of course, yeah, the reasoning for the transition, we had to also investigate not just MicroStrategy, but also a lot of other platforms. It's been so long, I can't even remember which ones we all investigated. What I can say is that MicroStrategy was one of them. But the reason why we liked it and why it was in our eyes, in our sense, better than Oracle BI is Oracle BI was. It was for Oracle BI. It's obvious that it's a kind of a compound of multiple products which were developed by several different companies, and then there were acquisitions, and then everything got rebranded into one BI platform, which caused the administration to be quite demanding for some tasks. Whereas MicroStrategy has, I think, about a fifth of the tools in terms of numbers. So it's safe to say that MicroStrategy has a simplified and unified administration tool. One of the tools is the workstation that we'd mentioned earlier. There's also another one called Developer, which kind of encapsulates everything we need, from user creation, to security filters, to row-level security, to data governance, to basically everything. Whereas for an example would be the integration of Active Directory users in Oracle had to be done using 3 tools, and the configuration was basically a nightmare. Here we have a wizard. Basically, it's a matter of clicking next 5 times, putting in the necessary parameters, and the thing works. So the administration is really simplified. The next thing is, of course, MicroStrategy offers a load of connectors to which we connect. I don't know. We can connect to any cloud provider, the local databases we have. We can have Oracle, Microsoft, Postgre. It doesn't matter. It has a lot of built-in connectors, and also it allows you to bring in your own I don't know, ODBC connectors. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the terminology. It's safe to say that it has kind of a open architecture to really connect to basically any kind of data source that we want, which is also a huge plus for us. And maybe this one, like I said, this is something that we presented to management, is of course the technological part. I mean, the responsive design, the platform independence. This is all something we as a development team strive to have, and this goes back to where I mentioned that we did everything with .cs. This is the reason why we did everything using that particular report type, because it's responsive. You create it once, and then it's device independent, regardless on which device you're viewing the dashboards. So we can, yeah, we put a check mark on all these three things. Maybe, yeah, so one example I can show you why we wanted this responsive design is just to show a quick comparison of one report that we had on Oracle and how it looks on MicroStrategy. This report that we see here is the one that's used quite extensively. It shows kind of a daily production overview for several main product groups. As you can see here on the top, we have several companies, I mean subsidiaries, and then we kind of created a filter where we just click through the companies, and it's kind of a generic report which shows for each individual company's main product groups. So, and then afterwards we wanted to, when we wanted to present the same dashboard on the iPad application that Oracle has, it basically had no responsive design. It's basically what you see is what you get kind of style. So we had to scroll around the tablet. Maybe one thing to notice, to mention also, is the application itself on the iPad for Oracle. They did an update, I don't know, about a year and a half ago. It just kept on crashing also. So the application itself was, we were unable to even use it, let alone to present anything. So the slide you see here, the kind of unresponsiveness of the dashboards caused us to duplicate our work. So for every important dashboard that was viewed on the browser, we had to duplicate it and rearrange all the components to make it at least somewhat attractive on the tablets. So yeah, next up, what I'm going to show you is the same dashboard we transferred to MicroStrategy. So here is the responsive part that kicks in. So this is the identical dashboard, and here's how it looks on the iPad application. So I think our end users were really bought when we showed them that this could be done. And of course, the development team also, we as the developing team also enjoyed the fact that we had to create this dossier only once. The user then added to the library, and our job is basically done. So this, I think, how to put it, I think that there were some examples where we created a dossier, and some of the things here maybe were too much packed together, but this was also probably not really a best practice from our side to be putting too much information on a single page. And so we kind of solved those things with by breaking up a single page into multiple pages, and the user can still easily navigate it by swiping left and right. So like I said, this mobile part was a huge game changer. It really convinced, especially the management part of the company, because a lot of them don't really use laptops and computers. They look at everything on their tablets. And so by bringing this kind of application to them, where they have a daily overview of production and sales and all kinds of other reports, was something that caused them to give us the thumbs up to really go through this project and implement the platform. Like I said, yeah. As far as the transition itself, we did start off ourselves. We installed it, we tried it, yeah. But it was the help of CRMT and MicroStrategy that we didn't make too many mistakes along the way. We really kind of set the standard at the start. We defined where we would have our attributes, our metrics, how we would define the data security, because we have several companies and we have a strict limitation that not a person from one company cannot look at the data from another company. So we had to organize that, which we also managed to do. So we have data security in place. So basically, I hope this was. This made sense to you. I hope I didn't talk too fast or too much. maybe just to wrap up, currently we're still developing new dashboards and everything, but one of the things we're also working on is trying to exploit, I mean, not to exploit, to utilize the MicroStrategy's kind of open architecture regarding customization. As you can see here, the login screen you see here was modified by on our site using their customization editor, which basically is an open book. You can practically change everything, and it's all modular. Every change you do is packaged into a separate plugin, so you don't overwrite the existing functionalities. So we're making plans to do some changes ourselves here, which will make the user experience for the user simpler. For instance, here we had to add the logo types because some of the users needed to see where they are and what they're looking at. So this was kind of an example which was really helpful for them. So basically, this is our business case in a nutshell. I would like to thank you really very much for listening. Of course, I'm available to answer any questions should you have any. This is all from my side, so I am handing over back to you to CRMT. Thank you very much.